everybody. How are we doing tonight? Renee, was that a good applause? What would you rate that? Should I try it again? I said, hello everyone, how are we doing tonight? All right, now we're talking. All right. For those of you who don't know, my name is Lance Frazier. I'm from Channel 27 News, WKOW TV. This is the part where Renee said I had to tell you a little something about myself. So, fun fact, I only know 25 letters of the alphabet. I don't know why. Amy, how did I do? Thumbs up or thumbs down? For the rest of you, it doesn't get better after this, okay? This is what I got. As a father, this is all I got, but we're gonna have some fun no matter what. Even if you don't laugh, I promise you're gonna have some fun, you're gonna smile, and we're gonna talk about some great things being done by United Way. Now, before we get started, we wanted to take a moment to acknowledge that we are gathered on in Occupy ancestral homelands of the Ho-Chunk Nation, a place the nation has called Dejo since time immemorial. In an 1832 treaty, the Ho-Chunk were forced to cede this territory. Let this acknowledgement serve as a reminder of the history of colonization and inform our shared future of collaboration and connection to the Ho-Chunk people. Today, we respect the inherent sovereignty of the Ho-Chunk Nation, along with the 11 other First Nations of Wisconsin. All right, today we're going to take some time here to talk about all the great contributions that those of you have made to help United Way in our community, not only here in 2021, but we're also kicking off United Way's centennial year, looking forward to not only everything they've done the last 100 years, but what they're going to be doing over the next 100 years as well. This event marks the beginning of a year celebrating all of the incredible volunteers and community leaders that have made real, measurable change possible over the past century. So, community builders, if you haven't had a chance yet, you see the bright lights over there? They are calling your name. I promise you. Come on over there. We want to make sure we get all of these smiling faces, which how great is it to see so many smiling faces? We want to see them all. We want to capture all those smiling faces. Come get your picture taken over here as the night's going along. All right. I think we're ready to get started. Are we ready, or do you think they need one more joke? How about this? What do you call a pencil with an eraser on both ends? Pointless. Are they getting better or worse, Amy? She said down. I'm going to keep working on this, Renee. Before the night's over, I'm going to make 10 of you laugh. All right. So without further ado, all right, Renee, you can head on over there. And to get started, we want to thank some of our sponsors. Event and in-kind sponsors include Hooper Corporation, Findorf, Madison Gas and Electric, Vogel Brothers Building Corporation, and WKOW TV 27 News. Feel free to clap for yourselves, okay? Our table sponsors include Ascendium, Kira and Thomas Dot Family, Godfrey Kahn, Herzing University, McClone Insurance, and Zimbrick. We want to give an extra thanks also to today's presenting sponsor, the Madison Community Foundation. And at this time, I actually would like Bob Sorge, President and CEO of the Madison Community Foundation, to go to the podium and make some opening remarks. Bob?
Thank you, Lance. I think Renee was worried I was going to steal her notes there. I am certainly pleased to be here on behalf of the Madison Community Foundation to congratulate and celebrate United Way of Dane County on its 100th anniversary, and we are honored to sponsor tonight's event. Our organizations share a long and distinguished history of serving this community. Together, we have 180 years of serving Madison and Dane County. And in fact, in 2021 alone, our organizations combined distributed nearly $50 million for this community, and we're intensely proud of that. We value the relationship that we have with United Way, and while we may touch different parts of the nonprofit ecosystem, we share a vision for Dane County to be a place where all people thrive. And so with that, I want you to hold your glass up. We're going to do a little toast here before I turn the microphone over. The Community Foundation has the opportunity to work with a lot of other community foundations across the country, as you would anticipate, and there are United Ways doing good work in all of those communities. But this United Way is unique and special in its strength and in its impact in Dane County. And we are so proud to have a partner organization like United Way to work with. I want to thank United Way for its community leadership over the last 100 years. I want to thank you for continuing to harness the power of many to work for all. And I want to thank you for your vision and commitment as we look ahead. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you, Bob. Before you sit, I had a question for you, Bob. Do you know how much Santa's sleigh cost?
No.
It was on the house. Renee or Amy, anybody? Nobody? Nothing? Okay, we're going to get there. All right. So, our United Way is recognized in the top 2% of U.S. nonprofits by Charity Navigator and received the highest 4-star and platinum ratings by GuideStar. But look, we don't need outside evaluators to tell us what we already know, that United Way is great. Everywhere we look across Dane County, we see United Way's innovation and impact. Here to talk a little bit more about the community and how United Way helps it, Renee Moe, President and CEO of United Way of Dane County.
Thank you, Lance. I like that you started with parenting, literacy, humor. It's a good thing. So, trying to pull it together, guys, sorry. So, hello everybody on Zoom. Hello everybody in person. Welcome. This is so exciting to have you all here. We're at the Orpheum tonight because this beautiful building was built in the 1920s, the same decade United Way started. Our collaborative and enterprising staff made that connection. Please join me in thanking the staff who work behind the scenes catalysts to achieve our mission, uniting the community to achieve measurable results that change lives. Thank you, team. You all know that United Way is volunteer-led. In the hallway tonight, you may have seen a series of banners illustrating our organization's history. We are eager to lift up those stories of innovation and impact that have brought us here today. We're so thrilled to have you here to celebrate the successes of 2021 and to kick off our centennial anniversary year. Thank you to WKOW and Lance for emceeing today. How about those Badgers, Lance?
Big Ten champion Badgers, you mean?
Yes, those Badgers. We're grateful for your continued partnership. And I know Bob Lindmeyer was walking around here somewhere too, so thanks to all the WKOW folks for being here. And thank you to our sponsors who you just heard about. Immense gratitude today goes to Madison Community Foundation for being our presenting sponsor. Bob and I were talking about this centennial many years ago, and he said, wouldn't it be great if Madison Community Foundation could do something for United Way Centennial? And thank you, Bob, to you and your board for making that happen. We're so grateful. Bob and MCF are also sponsoring next year's event on March 1st, 2023, really bookending the celebration of our centennial. So it's an honor to celebrate that continued partnership together. I want to start by saying that all of us at United Way of Dane County know that it's all of you who make our community so great. And we're so proud of what we've been able to accomplish together this past year and for the last 100. If we learned anything over our history, it's that meaningful, measurable change does not happen alone. We couldn't do our important work without the leadership of this amazing community. Together, we've been able to, throughout the last century, understand and invest in our community's most pressing needs, be nimble and respond to emergencies across Dane County, mobilize giving, advocacy, and volunteerism to amplify collective impact, take an intentional approach to naming racial disparity in our community and working to measurably reduce inequities, and hold ourselves accountable and our community accountable for results. Through strategic partnerships and collaborative work with local nonprofits, businesses, community leaders, donors, volunteers, and families themselves, we've made it a priority to bring the many voices of Dane County together to find common ground and develop a strategic architecture for change. We solve big issue problems together that no one person or organization can achieve alone. And we all know now, coming out of the pandemic, it's critically important to come together and build our future together. Let me give you some highlights from the past 100 years. You have volunteered millions of hours. You have contributed more than $500 million. You have tutored tens of thousands of local elementary, middle, and high school students. You have stably housed thousands of homeless families, and that's just scratching the surface. Most of all, you have stepped up to serve the common good, to mobilize the caring power of our community to create lasting generational change. I'm going to share a bit of history before diving into those results that you made possible. In the late 1880s, as the country was expanding westward, the faith and business community recognized a united campaign to collect funds and coordinate services would be an efficient and effective response to significant human challenges. These, across the country, starting in Denver, would become community chests. Yes, the very same community chests on your Monopoly boards. In the summer of 1921, N.J. Fry, an executive from the Wisconsin Life Insurance Company and leader from what is now the Greater Madison Chamber of Commerce, attended a national meeting of community chests to possibly suggest bringing something like that here in Madison. Of course, that board agreed that was a good idea. We were incorporated March 1st, 1922, and the first campaign ran in September and raised $67,674 for 14 agencies. I'm going to spend a little time here because I think this is so cool. In 1946, Lowell Frautschi delivered a credo that stressed we needed to become more than a consolidator of fundraising and work to develop strategies for solving local problems. He said, "I admire the community union because it is not static. Having survived a long depression and a great war, it is a very different thing than it was from the start. It is flexible, it enters new fields, it abandons projects which have terminated, and it acquires new agencies, sometimes combining or losing them. It goes in for self-criticism. It seeks ever-widening support and participation. It plans ahead and tries to anticipate problems which may arise in the community. It is a constructive, integrating force in Madison." He concluded those remarks by saying, "Indirect and positive benefits have come from developing leadership, bringing people in common enterprise together from neighborhood and group representatives who would not otherwise meet, and that increasing attention must be given to examine local problems and developing future plans." I love that so much. That vision cascaded across the country and really became a mantra for United Ways across the United States. In the mid-90s, right here in Dane County, businesses started asking my predecessor, Leslie Ann Howard, who's here tonight, if we could reduce and eliminate the root causes of those problems. And Schools of Hope was our first collective impact project, before anyone knew what the term collective impact meant. An intentional way of working together and sharing information for the purpose of solving a complex problem. And in 2003, under the leadership of Tom Zimbrick, the Agenda for Change was born. This had all 5 conditions of collective impact: a common agenda, shared measurement system, mutually reinforcing activities, continuous communication, and United Way as a backbone support organization. Here are a few things that happened over the course of that history. A 2-year pilot project with the Attic Angel Association to jointly sponsor the first call for help service line, which is now evolved into United Way 211. This is a central access point for information that provides 24/7 service to community via phone, text, or web. And last year, we connected more than 40,000 Dane County residents to assistance and resources to help. Our law enforcement leaders of color collaboration was built to increase trust and foster lines of communication between police and community. And thanks to the Delegation on Economic Stability for Young Families, we now have our 2Gen work, launched a new area of investment with a focus on simultaneously working with parents and the children and families together to get to better outcomes. These Agenda for Change collaborations have led to significant results: a 50% reduction in family homelessness, a 90% success rate in formerly incarcerated persons not returning to prison, 88% of 4-year-olds in home visitation programs, kindergarten ready, and we collectively increased the 6-year high school graduation rates to 93% across the county, moving Hispanic, let me finish. Thank you, though. Moving Hispanic student graduation rates from 75% to 85%, and Black student graduation rates from 67% to 75%. Naming racial inequity and mobilizing the community makes a difference. That deserves applause. I don't usually cut folks off, but I wanted you to hear that part. It's really, really good, and you made that possible. Each of these took significant partnership with nonprofits, businesses, schools, government, and families themselves to focus on the building blocks of education, income, housing, and health, and we're demonstrating results, and we're inspired to do more. These are just some of the collaborations we've been able to make possible through strong, essential partnerships, and they give us hope and validation that this important work truly does make a difference. Over 100 years, we've proven together we can be more effective, And together, through relationships and building that speed of trust, we can make the system changes that need to happen for our entire community to succeed. This is a special year to celebrate the opportunity of 100 years of impact while ensuring another century of impact. And as we move forward, we plan to continue to harness that collective power to make even more change. And while we are filled with hope and optimism as we enter our centennial year, it's no secret that these past few years have been some of the hardest in our lifetime. In 2020, we were faced with an unprecedented and devastating pandemic. And in just a few short months later, George Floyd was killed at the knee of a law enforcement officer, sparking protests and civil unrest that called for long overdue systemic reform. In 2021, we saw many neighbors continue to struggle with the health and economic consequences of the COVID-19 pandemic. Talent pipeline issues, supply chain issues, inflation, the list goes on and on of the challenges that we're facing right now. And so many of those successes that I mentioned to you, the doors are wide open again on some of those changes based on what's happened with families and incomes. We see parents scrambling to put food on the table, kids having a hard time learning in an ever-changing academic environment. We have never had so many mental health calls for children at 211, and entire communities of people struggling to access healthcare. The disconnection of our youth, fear of increasing gun violence, all of those things we're worried about for our community in the future. And this week, shocked by the actions and images we're seeing in Ukraine and the ongoing challenges to democracy. It seems harder today to live united than at any other time in my history here at United Way. But while these times have been divisive, they've also shown us that when we come together, there is nothing we can't overcome. With schools pivoting to a virtual environment and isolation at its highest due to the pandemic, Simon, a local high school freshman, was really struggling with stress and anxiety. Thanks to their quick ability to pivot, Journey Mental Health was able to provide Simon with virtual support. Simon was so inspired by this mental health support that he even shared his learnings with his little sister, starting their own group at home to support each other during the pandemic. Monica, a local single mom of 3, lost her job in March 2020. She struggled for times, staying with her friend in her apartment and working low-wage service industry jobs, but she knew she couldn't make ends meet much longer. So she called 211, and we connected her with partners at Middleton Outreach Ministry. They were able to find her an affordable apartment and provide some COVID-19 relief funds to help with moving costs. And thanks to a little bit of stability in that moment, she's been able to get on her feet and find a job that allows her to support her family. That's the power of coming together, child by child, parent by parent, which will drive rhythms and waves of change for the future. These stories showcase that while times have changed significantly, we've been able to adapt to meet those changes. In fact, we know that every time there has been a seismic shift in a society, United Way has shifted too, continuing to bring the community together to help bring about the change that we all demand. That's the power of many working for all. As we celebrate our centennial year, lifting up your generosity, telling the stories of community builders, and we continue to be a community hub for residents to come together to effect change. Today, we're going to start by celebrating 2021's results that you made possible, give you a preview to the change your dollars are leading into the future, and when I come back up, we'll share with you where we want to go for the future. I'm going to leave the announcement to the community number to our wonderful 2021 campaign chairs, Ginger Zimmerman from Murphy Desmond and Dan Frazier, US Bank, representing our campaign cabinet and the hundreds of volunteers who make the campaign possible. But what I will say is thank you. Thank you to each and every person who has been a part of United Way, these 100 years of results in this history. Thank you to each and every person who donated time and dollars to our campaign in 2021. Your dollars are hard at work changing lives as we speak. And because of you, stories like the ones that I just shared and those results, they're possible. Real, measurable, meaningful change that impacts multiple generations is possible. Together, we truly are the power of many working for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Renee. All right, so I have one for all of you. So a man walks into a bar, and that's how he was eliminated from the limbo competition. That didn't go well. But a man who always raises the bar is Dan Frazier, Madison Market President at US Bank and one of our 2021 campaign co-chairs. Let's give it up for Dan.
Thank you, Lance, and thank you for kicking this off. We appreciate it very much. Thanks a lot, Renee. It's also my honor, it was an honor to serve alongside my co-chair, Ginger Zimmerman, as we work to achieve a successful campaign. I also want to thank our 2021 class of loan executives who worked as an extension of the United Way team for 4 months during the campaign. This talented and passionate group of individuals were either loaned from or sponsored by local businesses. They spent 2 weeks learning everything there is to know about Dane County, and then turned around and educated others about the needs of our neighbors. Thank you, loan executives. Could we get a round of applause for the loan executives? "2021 was an extraordinary year filled with ongoing challenges, but it's no surprise that once again, the Dane County community stepped up. And as I think about the campaign from when we started, we began the 2021 campaign very optimistic that we would be working together in person, strategizing, meeting with loan executives, cabinet meetings, attending CEO leadership calls, and campaign kickoffs. Then came the Delta COVID variant in the summer of 2021. Disappointing, yes, very disappointing. But the United Way staff, the returning cabinet members, returning loan executives had experience with conducting a virtual campaign. UW Credit Union CEO Paul Kundert successfully led us through our first virtual campaign in 2020. So once again, we rolled up our sleeves and we got to work to build back a better tomorrow. And the Dane County community stepped up to the challenge. I'm thrilled with how all team members pulled together to complete a successful campaign. This truly was the power of many working for all. And now, I'm proud to announce that thanks to the hard work and generosity of all the people in this room, we raised a total of $18.1 million, meeting our campaign goal. I'm truly grateful to all of you. And before we announce the awards, I want to give a special shout out to the companies who generated the most dollars in our community. American Family Insurance, Exact Sciences, the Combined State Campaign, CUNY Mutual Group, Zimbrick, Christensen Associates, UW Credit Union, Baker Tilly, J.H. Findorf and Sons, and BMO Harris Bank. What you see there is our community leaderboard, our community's leaderboard of compassion. Let's give them another round of applause. Thank you. And now Lance is going to get us started on the 2021 campaign awards.
Everyone's looking at me expectantly, Dan. All right, I got one. Dan, why should the calendar be nervous? Why would a calendar be nervous?
It's afraid to turn?
No, because its days are numbered.
Oh, good.
Better? I'm getting there. I'm going up. Amy? She didn't believe that, what she just said. All right, let's do some of the awards. Thank you, Dan. And we are now going to announce and celebrate some of the generous organizations and individuals who have done so much for the community. When you hear your name called, head on over to the light. You're being called by the light. Renee is going to take a photo with you over there, and you're going to get your award over in the lights. So with that, Dan, take it away.
Okay, the first awards are the Campaign Leader Awards. These awards celebrate the companies who grew their financial impact the most, helping to accelerate positive change in our community. The first group of recipients grew their overall dollar amount the most, and here are the honorable mentions.
Go ahead and give a round of applause, people. Let's give everyone a round of applause.
As I announce the top 3 companies to grow their community investments, please send a representative to the photo backdrop to receive the award. And the recipients are Exact Sciences, M3 Insurance, and Zimbrick. While the group that we just recognized grew their total dollars the most, the next group grew their giving by the largest percentage over the last year's results. Organizations of all sizes are stepping up. Here are the honorable mentions for the next Campaign Leader Awards. You can see Capital Bank, Erdman, PFS, TECO, RSM, Teak Systems, the Wisconsin Credit Union League, and Valicom Corp. And the top 3 companies to grow their community investments by the largest percentages are Auxient, the Goodman Community Center, and Thermistore. Congrats to the Campaign Leader Award recipients and honorable mentions.
All right, thank you, Dan. We're going to move on to some more awards here, and to honor the companies who put the many in the power of many, working for all. When we announce your name, once again, go on over and say hello to the shining lights in your face. Get blinded by the attention that you deserve for yourself and your company. All right, I believe Jennifer is going to read the name for us. Do we have Jennifer? All right, the People's Choice Award is going to be the next one, and it's a big surprise even for me because I don't have the card. We'll wait a second for Renee. All right, you get another one while we're waiting for this. Okay. So I don't know if you heard, the Swedish Navy is putting barcodes on the side of their ships now. That way they can Scandinavian. Huh? Better? We're getting there? Okay. I am not getting an award tonight, for the record. All right. So as we're waiting on that award, let's move on. Our next award is going to celebrate innovation. It recognizes a company's commitment to raising awareness and resources through new and creative strategies. We have 2 recipients this year. And again, when we call your name, go on over to the photo backdrop over there and get your award. The first one is Exact Sciences. Exact Sciences United Way campaign didn't just stop at the borders of Dane County. They included employees across the country and the world through special events such as improv comedy, and Pi Day and volunteer opportunities. They engaged employees across the footprint and 7 local United Ways, achieving 55% participation. We want to thank you, Exact Sciences, for all that you've done. Our second recipient of the Innovation Award is Deforest Area Community School District. The Deforest School District thought outside of the usual campaign ideas, and they enlisted student leaders in their campaign this year. Students created t-shirts, they hosted tables at community events and community open houses. They shared United Way's impact during sporting events, and so much more. Most notably, the students created a video to share the impact of a teacher or staff member that had impacted their life, and then encouraged them to further impact with a gift to United Way. Let's give it up one more time for the Deforest Area School District. All right, next up I want to introduce Leslie from TASC to announce our Collaboration Award. TASC is also a Centennial Champion. Their support, along with other generous leaders, will position our community for success for years to come. Thank you so much for what you do, and take it away.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Lance. I'm so happy to be here tonight to honor and celebrate United Way of Dane County's 100 years of impact. My goodness, 100 years, right? 100 years ago, our community was recovering from a pandemic and had just experienced an ice storm, which all sounds just a little bit familiar, wouldn't you say? For those who don't know me, I'm Leslie Vitale. I'm a human resources business partner at Task. And Task is a longtime supporter of United Way of Dane County, and that's because both our mission and values closely align. The story of Task started with a desire to help a friend and to support everyday people pay less tax so they can invest more in their family and their community's prosperity. We know that when individuals have more money to spend, when they invest in their health, and when they have tools to support their families and give back to their communities, we all benefit. While Task may be an expert in removing complexities to navigate employee benefits, we know the United Way of Dane County is the expert in bringing us together to address our community's most pressing challenges. Our community has thrived for the last 100 years thanks to collaboration. The United Way has brought together nonprofits, businesses, and individuals to strengthen our community. While the needs have changed over time, one thing has remained the same: a collaborative approach of convening community members to create innovative solutions. And that's why Task has supported United Way of Dane County for so many years. We both love innovation. We know the only way to solve complex problems is to work together, and that United Way is uniquely positioned to bring people together like no other organization in our community. Collaboration is what powers us into the next 100 years of impact, which is why I'm pleased to share with you this year's Collaboration Award recipient. This award recognizes a United Way facilitated collaboration committed to bringing diverse perspectives together to achieve collective action. When I call your name, you know the drill. Head to the photo backdrop to receive your award. Are you ready? This year's recipient of the Collaboration Award is United Way of Wisconsin for the 21-week Equity Challenge.
All right, so thank you so much. It is United Way of Wisconsin for the 21-week Equity Challenge, as you mentioned. Now, I did get some awards. Are you ready? I skipped that People's Choice Award. You all want to know who the People's Choice Award winner was, right? Correct? All right. Thank you so much, Leslie. I appreciate it. So we're going to call up Jennifer Baird from Exact Sciences to announce the People's Choice Awards. But first, I want to tell you about the Power of Many Awards. It celebrates the companies who really grew their employee participation the most, engaging more people and supporting our community. So, first off, we're going to give a round of applause to all of our honorable mentions in that category. Now for the top three companies, and as you hear your name, again, go on over and receive your award. First off, let's hear it for C. Bloom and Associates. Goodman's Jewelers. And Madison United Healthcare Linen. So another group that sets the bar high is those with 95% or greater participation in their workplace campaigns. We want to thank you and congratulate the Power of Many Awards recipients, honorable mentions, and the companies with the highest participation, which you see on the screen. All right, next up, I want to invite up Jennifer Baird from Exact Sciences to announce those People's Choice Awards that have been so elusive. Let's give Jennifer a round of applause.
Hello and good evening. I am here.
I tried to skip you. I am so sorry, but I heard you weren't laughing at my jokes, so I got a little offended. And you're here now, though, so you can laugh with me.
I will laugh with you. Thank you so much. Hello and good evening, everybody. Exact Sciences has a long-standing relationship with United Way of Dane County. Each year, we run our annual campaign through United Way because we believe they maximize impact, increase efficiencies, and create long-lasting change within the communities in which we work and live. Last year, we had the honor of being the recipient of the People's Choice Award, and we are very excited to share the announcement of this year's winner. This award celebrates the work of one organization who puts the fun in fundraising. Best of all, you chose the recipient. Let's remind you of this year's nominees. We have M3 Insurance, Madison College, Madison Gas and Electric, UW Credit Union, and Zimbrick Incorporated. So let's give them all a round of applause. All great organizations. So when I announce a recipient, please send a representative to the photo backdrop to receive your award. And this year's People's Choice Award goes to M3 Insurance. Just a few words about M3 Insurance. M3 Insurance really does know how to put the fun in fundraising, in addition to many small events catered around their employees to get everyone pumped for the campaign. Their main fundraising event this year was their annual volleyball tournament to raise money for the community. This year was extra exciting because the United Way of Dane County participated in the tournament with a team. The volleyball tournament was so successful, they raised $40,000 for Dane County. So congratulations again to M3 Insurance.
It was well worth the wait, right, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you so much, Jennifer. All right, we're going to welcome up to the stage now Ginger Zimmerman, President, Managing Shareholder at Murphy Desmond SC, and one of the 2021 campaign co-chairs.
Thanks, Lance. By the way, Lance, there's a loaned executive out there who could help you with your material. You might want to meet him.
I need a lot of help.
The next award is the Engagement Beyond the Pledge Award. This award celebrates companies who go above and beyond a once-a-year campaign by connecting their employees, their strategy, and giving back into a journey of growing impact year-round. We have 2 recipients this year. The first is National Guardian Life.
National Guardian Life has a culture of giving all year long. They hold year-round engagement opportunities for their leadership and staff, including trivia nights, volunteer projects, and participated in United Way's Equity Challenge. NGL also held a leadership giving event with a focus on DEI efforts and are furthering their engagement in the United Way's Hire program.
And our second recipient is American Family Insurance.
American Family Insurance has taken their engagement well beyond the pledge by creating Joy Kits. These kits include essential items that our neighbors need the most. In 2021, they created 150 personal care kits, 150 home care kits, and 100 winter gear kits that were distributed to local families. And they expanded their Joy Kits to 11 other United Ways across the country. This shows firsthand the impact that we have when we give our time in addition to our dollars and brings to life the power of many working for all.
Thank you, and congrats to this year's recipients. Our final award this evening is the Advocate in Action Award. This award recognizes campaign volunteers who are passionate about giving back, enthusiastic about engaging others in learning about our community, and inspire everyone to give, advocate, and volunteer. We have 2 recipients in this award as well this year. The first is Shar Lodel from Springs Window Fashions.
Shar is a longtime employee campaign manager, former loaned executive, and has been a tremendous leader with United Way's Business Volunteer Network. She uses her great passion for United Way to run effective workplace campaigns each year, including a 10% increase in 2021. On top of that, she was a driving force behind a special $50,000 gift from Springs Window Fashions last year, and that was given to have an even greater impact in the community during these difficult times. Congratulations.
Thank you, Shar, for your leadership. And our second recipient is Scott Strong from Rise, Wisconsin.
Scott is a community leader who leads by example, giving his heart, time, talent, and treasure to build a better tomorrow for everyone. He demonstrates his commitment to our community every day as the executive director of Rise, Wisconsin, and has been critical in connecting our nonprofit partners with the annual campaign. As a member of the United Way Campaign Cabinet for the last 2 years, Scott has focused on sharing United Way resources with local nonprofits and encouraging their participation in workplace campaigns. Thank you, Scott, for inspiring us to take action every day to give back to our community.
Congrats to Shar and Scott. What a year. I'm so proud of what all of us in this room and out in the community were able to accomplish this year. To all of you who gave in support of this campaign, thank you. We are so grateful. As Dan indicated, 2020 was a challenging year as we all dealt with the immediate impact of the pandemic and the uncertainties it presented. When we started preparing for the 2021 campaign, knowing that the needs of this community had been amplified by the harshness of a stubborn and continuing virus. But as we worked with United Way staff, cabinet volunteers, loaned executives, our corporate and agency partners, and countless volunteers, including all the ECMs working hard to run impactful working campaigns, we saw this community's resiliency, focus, engagement, enthusiasm, and energy. All of you working together and leveraging your resources, your time, your financial contributions, and perhaps most importantly, your passion. I am honored to have served with Dan as your 2021 Cabinet Co-Chair and proud to be a member of this community where the power of many is working for all to meet our greatest challenges. Thanks to all who donated and our incredible nonprofit partners, over the past year, United Way has been able to help keep thousands of children stably housed, respond virtually to home visitation and tutoring, to get more kids ready for school, and respond to significant trauma in the community caused by the ongoing pandemic. The dollars donated to this campaign are crucial in enabling United Way to continue supporting families as they work to build stable, successful lives through family supporting jobs, quality education, and health supports. With these funds, United Way also will continue building out their 2Gen, multi-generational investments and programs, partnering across the community to center families and support them holistically, sparking lasting generational change. Thank you for trusting United Way with your hard-earned dollars. You can be confident that they will be well spent and positive community change will happen as a result. And thank you for being a part of the power of money working for all. And once again, back to you, Lance.
Thank you so much to Ginger and Dan for all the work that they did throughout the year. Let's give them a round of applause. All right, Renee, we let you sit for about 2.5 minutes. Are you rested? No, you're good. Are you rested? Are you ready to keep going? You've been running all over the place. You're ready. Okay. We can move forward then. Let's do this, Renee. All right. Welcome Renee back to the stage here. She's going to start our panel topics here today. United Way's updated community level goals is the topic. Go for it, Renee.
Thank you. I really don't know where I'm supposed to be, so
You're
being so patient.
Wherever you go, there you are. Just remember that, Renee.
Thank you. I had a friend who once said, make sure your head is where your feet are. So I'm really happy to be here with all of you. So it's great. So thank you, Dan and Ginger. Obviously, none of those results would have happened without you, and we're just so incredibly grateful for your leadership. Let's thank them again. I also want to give a big shout out to Heaving Group, who has done all of our marketing and creative for over a decade. And they're here tonight, and they're also leading in our messaging to come through this centennial and beyond. So thank you, Heaving, for your amazing generosity and creativity as well. It's been so inspiring to celebrate this past year, thanks to all of our award winners and every person who made last year's campaign such a success. And now it's time to focus on the future. We can all be so very proud of the work we've been able to accomplish together over the last 100 years, and also acknowledge there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. As I mentioned earlier, our community's Agenda for Change was created in 2003. With this as our guiding star, we've been working towards community well-being through goals that ladder up to education, income, health, and the addition of our 2Gen multi-generational approach more recently. The Agenda for Change is focused on the right levers. Our history of responding and planning for our community is ever evolving. And with a new century coming out of a pandemic, our board really took the last year to reflect backwards to develop a new strategic plan and updated community level goals. At United Way, we know that for Dane County to reach its fullest potential, we must engage and involve diverse communities in discussion, decision-making, leadership, and action to design the best outcomes that create lasting change for multiple generations. We want to center the voices of those most affected. So we spent much of 2020 listening and forming that plan, a way forward for the next century. In partnership with the Local Voices Network, we hosted 90-minute conversations engaging over 200 diverse community voices to learn more about needs and how we can best serve our community for years to come. We listened to our neighbors who were calling 211 for resources and regularly connected with nonprofit agency partners to better understand the greatest needs. And we engaged agency partners, donors, and volunteers to inform a way forward for United Way. A big shout out to Bill Westrate, who was our strategic planning chair, Dave Beck-Engel, our board chair, and Tim Prince at Findor for helping us in that process. Yeah, let's clap for them. It's no surprise to us that the themes that came from these conversations included education, housing and homelessness, racism, criminal justice and safety, and health inequities. Straight from the mouths of Dane County residents, these are the greatest problems you identified for our community. Through this level of listening, work with our partners, and strategy building led by volunteers, we've also identified a new long-term aspiration toward which all other goals are working: increase family well-being. Increase family well-being so that families in Dane County lead healthy, thriving, secure lives that meet their own defined goals and that are not impacted by experiences of systemic racism, discrimination, and poverty. That is a lofty aspiration, but an incredibly important one. Bottom line, we all want to build a thriving community that works for all residents. One of the questions I've been asked the most in the past few years, and I'm talking dozens and dozens of conversations, why are we talking so much about race and equity? The fact is, those issues that we just outlined are primarily driven by outdated systems that allow inequities to thrive. And you can't uproot those systems without talking about race. Equity doesn't mean making things the same or lowering our expectations, and it doesn't mean abdicating personal responsibility. It means working to create shared understanding about how we got here and building pathways forward, being honest about who's advantaged and disadvantaged, and talking about systemic fair treatment of all people resulting in fair opportunities and outcomes. That means looking at education, financial stability, housing, and health in a way, that multi-generational approach that coordinates efforts and moves people forward. To do that, we know we need to center family well-being, because family well-being ultimately means community well-being. By putting families first and centering equity in everything we do, we can get closer to community safety, economic prosperity, and the Dane County we all demand. Our county has trusted United Way to ensure your dollars are well spent for 100 years, and I promise centering those most effective has shown we can continue to prove that your dollars are well spent, but obviously we can't do it alone. We need to ask ourselves as a community, do we believe that every child, no matter their circumstance, can start school ready to learn? That every teen can graduate with a sense of self-confidence, goals, and skills for the future? That parents can find pathways to higher incomes and housing that works for their budgets? That the nonprofit ecosystem, employers, and other institutions can embrace the changes we're seeing in the world and transform forward? We believe yes, and we know that this group does too. This year, we want to invite the whole community to engage in this conversation, to look at these goals. And the next year at this event, March 1st, 2023, we're going to roll out that community plan. Just as our panel is about to reflect on these goals, we'll be asking you and the whole community throughout the campaign, throughout our events this year, to share where these resonate or where we need to go even further. It's going to take each and every one of us to build the Dane County that we all deserve, desire, and demand, especially coming out of the pandemic. And it's our role to mobilize the caring power of our community to create lasting generational change. Thank you for being the power of many, working for all, and thanks for helping others step into their community influence too. I hope that as you have conversations throughout the year and people are saying, what's happening in this community? What can be done? I hope you respond by saying, what are you doing? And if they don't have an answer, invite them to get involved. Through giving and advocating and volunteering, every single one of us can make a difference together. And we want to be that place where people can go to figure out what's actually going on, what's going to work, how do I be a part of that solution and change. Here to get into the more specific community level goals that work towards our ultimate goal and lead a panel of amazing experts and friends in local discussion is United Way's 2021 Vision Council Chair, Fabiola Hamdan. Each panelist is a great partner, and we're all so grateful for you all to be here and to share your leadership today. Bobby, I'll turn it to you.
Good evening, buenas noches, everybody. So happy to be here, and thanks for coming. Well, first of all, let me tell you that I want to say thank you, Renee, and just wanted to tell you that I am a social worker, and as a social worker in Dane County for over 35 plus years, I witnessed firsthand. Oh, thank you, thank you. It's actually March is the social worker month, so thank you to all my fellow social workers. So I just wanted to tell you that I witnessed firsthand how United Way, its staff and volunteers assist and help our most vulnerable residents. In my job, I'm very fortunate to have the job I do because it gives me the opportunity to meet people whose lives are very vulnerable and sometimes full of sorrow and sadness. Day by day, they entrust me with their personal stories, their fears, and their dreams. These hardworking people, many of them immigrants, whose dreams are our dreams. In my job, I encourage children and youth to advance in their educational goals and challenge them to try and acquire skills to improve their lives. But it is very hard for them to do it alone. Now more than ever, the struggles and challenges are even greater with virtual learning. Many parents do not have the skills to help their children. Many parents do not speak English. Many parents cannot provide their children with good technologies such as high-speed internet, iPads, etc. Many of these families are totally isolated, facing housing and food insecurities. Many of them are unable to have a good and a stable life. That's why it is imperative for us to be there and help them and be their village by connecting and volunteering with agencies like United Way. So thank you again. I just want to reflect a little bit about what Renee said. She mentioned that United Way's renewed commitment to family well-being is our main goal. So these goals focus on the system change work that needs to happen in order to build a thriving community. While these are big goals, we are not working towards them alone. They are high-level goals that many in Dane County are working collectively to achieve this. United Way has aligned their strategies and investments around these goals. We are confident that if all of us here step up to our part, we can achieve family well-being and turn community well-being over time. All right, so I'd like to take a moment to share with you goals as they are today. Through two-gen, multi-generational approach efforts, we aim to build family well-being by intentionally and simultaneously work with children under 5 and the adults in their lives together so less young families experience poverty. Through education efforts, we work to increase the graduation rates for Dane County students of color and those from low-income families so more young adults are ultimately ready for higher education, career, and community. Through income efforts, we aim to increase the number of families, particularly families of color, that become economically stable through strategies and integrate family-sustaining jobs, secure housing, and food. And finally, through health efforts, we focus on decreasing racial disparities in Dane County by providing equitable, accessible and culturally safe health care so we may build towards Dane County absence of racial health disparities. By getting on the same page and working together to achieve these goals, we can help our neighbors lead their lives we know they are capable of. As you can see, We need to have a holistic approach to succeed in our efforts. And we ask you to please join us in our journey. I think I need Lance.
Do you need a joke real quick for a break? I got one ready to go.
Oh,
Look,
God.
I don't know what the best part of Switzerland is, but the flag is a big plus. Okay,
gosh.
back to you.
I must tell you, I didn't get that one, so I'll talk to you. All right, so we like to take this moment and pause and reflect, and we have invited few local leaders to share their thoughts and support with this new direction that United Work is doing, because it is only by coming all of us together across multicultural sectors that we will be able to accomplish the change all of us want. So we have with us today Karen Menéndez Coller, Executive Director of Centro Hispano. Satya Rhodes-Conway, Mayor of Madison. Dr. Carlton Jenkins, Superintendent of Madison Metropolitan Schools. Shon Burns, Madison Chief of Police. Bill Westrate, President and CEO of American Family Insurance. Bob Short, President and CEO of Madison Community Foundation. We wanted to welcome you all, and thanks for taking the time tonight and joining us. So we have prepared a few questions for you, and we're going to have about 3 minutes for your responses. And so let's start with the first question. And this goes for all of you. Why is family well-being so important for the overall well-being of Dane County? And where do you see the work of your organization contributing to the success of families and they strive to lead healthy, thriving, and secure lives that meet their goal-defining goals? We're going to start with Karen.
Gracias, Fabi. Buenas noches. Should we practice a little Spanish tonight? No, I'm just kidding. It is really a pleasure to be here. I'm really proud that we get to do the work that we do with United Way. It's beautiful to be at this event tonight. I had the honor to be part of, the community committee that was supporting this happening, and I'm just beaming with joy. But I want to say that a wonderful example of family well-being is actually Fabiola's family. If you haven't met Fabi, please take the time to do so tonight. Her sister Giselle is here too, and they're a wonderful example for our community, especially our immigrant families here in Dane County. At Centro, we often talk about well-being as being the currency for hope. You can't hope unless you have well-being. That goes beyond health and what happens in clinics and hospitals. That's really all the work that so many of us in the nonprofit sector do, and I think that was amplified through COVID. That if you don't have housing, you can't thrive. If you don't have a space where you can have a beautiful relationship with your family, you can't dream. If you don't have services that are bilingual and bicultural, you can't move ahead. And so Centro is really a healing space for our community. Day in and day out, we face so many traumas because we know that our well-being is being triggered. We know that many of us don't even feel comfortable accessing healthcare. In Wisconsin, the majority of Latinos are actually born in this state, but access to healthcare is actually very, very low. And so we create a space where people can come together and know that they can thrive. I think, for us, family well-being, youth, adults, and community is important because we know that if we don't all do it together, we're not going to move ahead and do it the way that we want to. So, thanks,
Gracias, Karen.
Sí.
Mayor Satya, what are your thoughts?
Well, good evening, everyone, and let me start by congratulating the United Way on your incredible history and accomplishments. And I also just want to give personal congratulations to Renee and to appreciate your leadership of this fantastic organization. because you know she never takes any credit, and she deserves a lot. I also want to follow up on something that Renee said earlier. She challenged us all to ask ourselves a series of questions, and I want to add a question that I think we should be asking, and that is, what would it take for us to see every young person who lives in Madison as an asset and not a liability? What would that take? Every single young person. Because I think that gets to the heart of the question about family stability. There are some young people that it's clear to us collectively that they're assets, and there are others that I think sometimes we're not so sure about. But every single young person in our community is an asset, and we need to find a way to help them realize that potential. Family well-being is absolutely fundamental to individual, family, neighborhood, and community success. It's at the center of what we do in this community, and the center of so much that the city does. I want to just lift up 2 examples of work that I'm excited about. I could take 3 hours to answer this question, Fabio, but I promise that I won't. And so one example that we've done that I'm excited about is the work that we're doing with our urban campground on Dairy Drive, because it represents a transformation in our approach to unsheltered homelessness. It was forced by the pandemic, no question. It was not something that was on my list to take on when I got elected, but here we are, and I'm really proud of the work that city staff have done in collaboration with the private sector and the nonprofit sector. We have 30 small pallet houses out there that are providing a shelter, a home for people, allowing them to stabilize their lives and get back up on their feet. And we already have people moving out into more stable and permanent housing situations as a result of the work we're doing there. And I'm very proud of that work, and I think it represents us as a community taking a different approach to homelessness, which is very important. The other thing that I want to lift up that I'm excited about is yet to come. It's the Madison Forward Fund, which is a guaranteed income experiment for our community that we will be launching this spring. We will be giving unconditional cash gifts to over 100 families in Madison and trusting them that they know what they need. They know how cash can help them best, whether it's groceries or school supplies or clothing or a car payment or housing or whatever it might be. And I'm confident that we're going to see good results out of this experiment because we have seen these results nationwide, and I am sure that they will be replicated here in Madison. I'm very excited about this project. If anybody wants to learn more, please contact my office. We do still have a tiny funding gap. But I think that also represents something about family well-being and how we need to trust families to know what they need and what is best for their success. So those are just 2 things that I'm excited about that I think are representative of the work the city's doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Jenkins, you're next.
First of all, thank you to you, Fab. All right, and you are fabulous.
Oh,
So
thank
many
you.
ways. And that's for all of us who know the work she does. But I'm just so happy to be here tonight to share in this particular moment to talk about our community. For those who don't know, I'm not new to Madison. I'm back to Madison. I have a long history with Madison. I was here in '93 as an administrator, and I have a great love for Madison Metropolitan School District. In fact, it has shaped my entire career. I left here, it took things around the country, even been in international conversations about what happened in Madison. But even then, we were talking about Madison and our families and who's being seen in Madison, who's not being seen. Madison has always been a city of 2 tales. And so the district has tried to take on some role in terms of our goal to now being a district where every student, every family see themselves in our learning environment as thriving. The thing about what we're trying to do as a district, what inspired me to come back, we're on a journey to be an anti-racist district, to be about social justice, to be about creating a space where these latest reports on Madison as being one of two of the most segregated cities in the country can be disrupted. Our districts stepping out and saying, let's be bold and not talk about it, but let's be about it. So we are challenging ourselves. I'm coming in upon the shoulders of the work that's been done around the strategic framework, which is very aspirational. But we're in the process now of recalibrating around the strategic framework to be able to look outward to 2040 and say, how can the Madison Metropolitan School District share the parking lot with the number 17th ranked university in the world and not share the same experience or notoriety for the levels of success? Now, sure, we've had much success, but in order for us to help our families, we must recenter the work back on the whole family, not just the child that we may experience and give them a label without valuing the parents. Where it starts there with the parents. And we put our arms around the child. The pandemic has told us we must put our arms around the entire family. We were giving out 50,000 meals a week. We were giving out hotspots, and we weren't just doing this alone. This is where United Way stepped up. When I came in the beginning of not in the beginning, in the middle of the pandemic, and I'll never forget, United Way, Renee, and I have to say, we have the best in the country right here in Renee.
Thank you. Thank you. So we'll keep moving.
But she stayed there. United Way stepped up. When we were in the midst of the Omicron and districts were about to crawl back into virtual, and we needed volunteers, United Way stepped up for our families, because our families need to be able to go out and provide for the whole family. And by us keeping schools open, that helped our families. So what we're beginning to do is to see a whole family and mean it when we say it. That's the real way that we can help our community by making sure that we continue to be an anti-racist district, and we're truly about social justice and not just talking about it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jenkins. We're going to pass it to Chief Burns. What are your thoughts?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. All right, my name is Shon Barnes, and I have the pleasure of being the police chief for one of the greatest cities in America, Madison, Wisconsin. I wake up every day just appreciative of the opportunity that has been afforded to me. I want to thank the United Way for giving me the opportunity to be in a room with such a warm and welcoming and wealthy crowd. I'm going to check my credit score when I get back, because I think it probably went up a couple of points. But thank you for the opportunity to have me here. When I think about family, I think about my own experiences. I had the opportunity, or I was fortunate enough, to be born to very young parents. And so I had an opportunity to watch my mother, who's a physical therapist, go through many, many hours of school while working during the day. I watched my father literally build a building, a business from scratch. And so for me, family was those persons in my community that cared for me. And so I think it begins with the definition of family. Family isn't just people who are related to you by DNA. Family are those people who care about our community. And I think I've seen that certainly here in Madison. My organization is the Madison Police Department. We are a community-oriented, harm-focused, intelligence-led, evidence-based policing agency, and we're one of the best police agencies in the country, and I'm very proud of that. I stand here on the legacy of so many people who have come before me, and it's my responsibility every day to challenge our police officers, to challenge our leaders, our non-commissioned staff to do just that, to be a part of the community. That is the definition of community policing. And so whether it be our neighborhood policing program, our neighborhood resource officers, or our award-winning mental health officers who've been in our police department for over 8 years, we are a training and a technical assistance site where other police departments from around the country come to Madison to learn, how do I set up a mental health response team? I stand on the shoulders of so many great people, one is which is here today. Police Chief Noble Ray is here, who greeted me. I had to say something about that. And so it's incumbent upon me to continue that legacy of community development, of community collaboration, because the key is partnership policing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chief. So we're gonna go with you, Bill. You're next, Bill.
I'll get it eventually. There we go. Good evening, everyone. It's great to be here, and with such a distinguished panel, I'm really honored to be part of this. And obviously, I want to thank Fabiola and, of course, Renee as well for the opportunity to be part of this as well. You know, everyone here has described family well-being quite well, and I'm not sure I can add a lot to it. I love the description of seeing the whole family, and it actually reminded me of the work that United Way is doing around 2Gen and appreciating and recognizing the importance of multi-generational families, recognizing that stressors in a family that are affecting one member of the family affect others. If you think about adults, whether parents or grandparents who may be facing health issues or job security issues, that's a stressor on the children in that household. And at the same time, children in a household that are facing challenges with academically or challenges socially or emotionally, those create stressors for the parents and grandparents in that household. And so it's really important to recognize that families come in a lot of different constructs, and we're concerned as United Way about all families. For American Family, you know, I think about the things that we're doing. I just have to start with saying the simple things of, you know, first of all, we got to be a great employer. And that means providing competitive wages, including our new minimum wage of $23 an hour. Yes. I would say equally important is career development and advancement opportunities. It means providing great benefits, whether that's health insurance, retirement plans, but it also includes things like paid time off for volunteering and college loan repayment programs. We also are offering our employees a lot of flexibility. We think that's absolutely necessary, that we've all learned over the last couple of years, that flexibility is going to be the key to attracting great talent and retaining that talent. So those are some of the things we're doing. And I would say it also comes out of our mission for our business. You know, our mission is to inspire, protect, and restore dreams. And of course that means the dreams of our customers. We're protecting some of their most important assets, their vehicles, their homes, their financial security. But it also means protecting dreams of our workforce and creating opportunities for our workforce. And it means protecting dreams in our communities. And so that's a big part of why we invest heavily in the community. We're engaged in a lot of efforts and a lot of organizations. And it is, for us, it's not just about writing checks. It is about being engaged and being part of it. And we have, you know, obviously, United Way is a big part of that for us. And United Way partner agencies like Centro, Hispano, the Center for Black Excellence in Culture that's under development right now, Boys and Girls Clubs, Second Harvest Food Bank, all great organizations that we know are critically important in our community, that we're not only investing in, but we're engaged in with our people. And finally, I'd say we hire great people. And we got a few of them in the room tonight, so I want to thank them for being here. But when I say we hire great people, they're people who are and want to be engaged in the community. And I believe that strengthens our community and family well-being overall.
Thank you so much. Now we're going to close up with Bob.
Thank you, Fabiola, and good evening again, everybody. At the Community Foundation, when we think about family well-being, we think about thriving. And as we think about thriving, I think the two-generation approach of United Way is right on target. You know, healthy families provide for healthy kids become healthy adults provide positive contributions to the community, and they have their own healthy families. And so it makes a lot of sense to take this approach. With the Community Foundation, we also, as we think about thriving, we support things like free bikes for kids. It's actually free bikes for families because we don't limit it at kids. So we can increase bike equity access across our incredible community and all of the bike trails that we have. We developed things like splash pads in underserved areas of the community. We ensure that there are books in homes, which is one of the key predictors of success of students is how many books do they have in their homes. So we sponsored the Bookmobile. And when I think specifically of United Way's community level goals, I think of two of our panelists, Centro Hispano, led by Karen. It's a great example of how United Way and the Community Foundation complement each other's work. We just gave Centro a grant in the fall to look at ways that it can redevelop its space so it can serve more families. And of course, United Way is there providing operational support. So we provide capital support, they provide operational support, and Centro thrives. I also think about the Madison Metropolitan School District. A couple of years ago, we provided our largest grant in our history to help the school district found community schools. And if you don't know what a community school is, it's effectively taking a school and helping it become a community center, recognizing that you need to have community services at the place where families can access them. And a healthy family yields healthy, strong academic students. So we're very pleased to be part of the panel with so many distinguished folks tonight, and we're really proud of United Way and the great goals it's developed. Looking forward to helping achieve them.
Thank you so much, Bob. Thank you all for this great discussion. And now I would like to move on to some more specific questions. We're going to start with you, Karen. And here's the question. What does family well-being mean to you and your organization? And what programming do you partner with United Way to make this possible for the families you serve?
Thanks, Fabi. So, starting with what family well-being means to me, I'm a product of my family's well-being. I'm a product of my father's well-being, my mother's, my brother's, and my sister. So I'm a representation of, generational well-being. Establishing my family here in Wisconsin, my daughters are going to be a product of my well-being, and they're going to thrive because of that. I think that well-being at Centro has been part of our mission since the beginning. And I have to say that for those that don't know, I'm incredibly honored to be here with Bob, with Bill, and with everybody. And I am so thrilled to be here with Renee, and I know Leslie's in the room as well, because United Way believed in that mission of family well-being since the inception of Centro. If it wasn't for a United Way grant, we wouldn't have founded Centro in this community. So although now it's out in the open, it was something that was there all along. For our agency, we believe in inspiring our young people, but we know that they'll come back to their neighborhood. So they need to have adults that are going to be there inspiring them along the way. We want to transform communities. We want to do it with United Way, with everybody here, because it's important that we move everybody along. So it's essential for our vision and essential for the mission and the work that we do at Centro.
Gracias, Karen. So my next question goes to Dr. Jenkins. Dr. Jenkins, we know that when more children get the support they need to keep pace with their classmates all the way through high school graduation, our entire community is smarter and better positioned to succeed across generations. We also know that this doesn't always happen, especially for students of color, English language learners, and students from low-income families. So what do you feel is the role of the community in helping students succeed? And how does MMSD partner with United Way and their partner to help achieve progress towards these goals?
Fabulous question there. First of all, let me just start off by some of the partnerships that we have. Like when you look at Schools of Hope, many years of partnership, and you look at the things that happen in our schools in terms of when students need supplies, the number of volunteers that's coming from United Way consistently and for years in terms of supporting in our classrooms, supporting on the playground, and just many other things that we have going on. Our students from pre-K all the way up through high school receive significant support. Our families individually receive support from the United Way. But when we start talking about our communities and what they need, I think right now, in particular during these times, we need strong advocacy for public schools. That's the number one defense for our country, to have strong public schools. And we need strong public schools to center not only the children, but the families. Right now, in our particular state, where Wisconsin, where we were when I was back here in Wisconsin, we were one of the state leaders in terms of funding public schools. We've regressed drastically. We've actually become last in funding special education. We've lost benefits for our teachers because in order to have a great organization, you must have a competitive staff. And the way that you get a competitive staff, you have to be able to afford them. And we've lost benefits for our staff. A number of our staff have left out of the state of Wisconsin because of that. And there are many who are still here. We need that added advocacy at the state level. We have a $5.5 billion surplus. If we gave $343 to every district, not just Madison, to Osseo, a small rural district, that could help influence what's happening in the classroom. First of all, with a quality teacher. Second of all, with the resources. So when we start talking about families' ability to come out of where they are right now, we all know that education has played a part. And I'm not saying that everyone has to go get a PhD or MD, but if you get the necessary skills because of a high quality learning environment, you could become the next entrepreneur. You could become the next doctor. You could become the next whatever. So we need that level of support, and for everyone to understand that schools are not your enemy. Schools are your pathway. And I think we need to come together with the business community and step up and say, what does it really cost to make sure that our students have these transferable skills? So if they want to choose today to graduate with an associate degree, or if they want to get an articulated skilled trade, or if they want to go on to pursue their 4-year degree, whatever, how do we do it in a way so that people can graduate and not be in debt? That's the number one thing that's killing not only just low socioeconomic, but the truth be told, middle class people are poor because of their debt from trying to pursue a degree of some sort. So that and realize right now, the community, this pandemic is real. We know more now than what we did know, but it's still real. But what we do know, how we came together, if we continue to do this, we can come out of it better than where we are right now and even before the pandemic. So that's what I say, intentionality around that, and let's just be real about it. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Jenkins, for your insight. Moving on, my next question is for Chief Barnes. United Way is aiming to increase the number of families, particularly families of colors, that become economically stable through strategies that integrate family sustainability jobs and secure housing and food. How can members of law enforcement across Dane County partner with community organizations in this effort?
Thank you. Thank you for that question. And to Dr. Jenkins, I agree with everything you said. I began my professional career as a public school teacher. I taught history in a high school for 4 years, and I've always had a special place in my heart for education. So I appreciate your perspective, and I appreciate your leadership. We're lucky to have you, sir. I think that law enforcement are often the first eyes in the community. Oftentimes at 2 o'clock in the morning, when someone calls 911 for help, we go there and we try our best to resolve that problem. And oftentimes there is someone or some little one in a corner who's looking at us, and once the problem is solved, we leave. And I think that's a huge mistake. I think that we've learned through the course of the years that Policing can only work if we look at the entire problem. Madison is to me, the birthplace of problem-oriented policing. Professor Herman Goldstein, who many years ago taught us how to do it correctly. And in that model, he talked about working with different organizations who's best suited to solve this problem. But I think we have a tremendous responsibility and tremendous role as law enforcement officers, not just to solve the immediate problem, but to identify the underlying causes of the problem, in the words of Herman Goldstein, and then find the appropriate persons or organizations to solve those problems. So we do believe in partnering with the United Way. We do believe we're partnering with our mental health community for mental wellness issues. And I think that's something that will certainly continue. But we also do programming, and programming is very important. We want to make sure that we're out in the community when it's warm, and for me, that's like 80 degrees. Making sure that we're interacting with our kids, and that's important. But programming is not community policing. Community policing is a philosophy. It's not what we do, it's who we are. And so making sure that that identity is who we really are is the first step in making sure that we can collaborate with our community.
Thank you so much. Okay, moving on, our next question is for Mayor Satya. As a community leader and representative of our local government, what role do you and your colleagues play in addressing these community issues? How have you or will you work with United Way and their network to help achieve some of your shared goals?
Thanks, Fabiola. I just want to start by saying publicly how lucky I think we are to have Chief Shon Barnes here in Madison.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one of the fundamental roles of local government is to provide the basic infrastructure that our community needs to thrive and to promote safe neighborhoods. And so there's a number of things that we're working on at the city. You know, the street that you came here on, right? That's us. The fact that your trash is picked up every day, the clean water. I mean, all of these things are necessary for families to thrive and have well-being. And so we're going to keep right on doing that. It's our fundamental job. And I have to shout out that we're going to keep right on doing a lot of that thanks to the bipartisan infrastructure law that came out of President Biden's leadership. And that's really going to benefit our community. But we're also working on violence prevention, and that as in a partnership between MPD and public health, taking a public health approach to preventing violence in our community. That's a fundamental piece. We're working to limit crashes, fatal and serious injury crashes on our streets through our new Vision Zero initiative, which I hope will be adopted by the council soon. We're working to make sure that we're resilient to the impacts of climate change through studying every single watershed in our city and planning to reduce flooding should we get another serious rain event like we did a couple years ago. And we're also right here on the front lines protecting democracy, and we'll continue to do that. But there's more than just basic infrastructure for a community. And so we're also working on making sure that every neighborhood has choices in what kind of housing are there. Affordable, workforce, market rate. We need more housing, and we need more housing choice in our community, and that is something the city is working very hard on. We're also working to make sure that everybody has transportation choices, because families can't thrive if they can't get where they need to go. We're working to make sure that people can have employment choices. And that's something that the superintendent and I have spent a fair amount of time talking about, how we make sure people are prepared and well-trained for employment. We're supporting small businesses and entrepreneurship so that people can build wealth in our community. And I think it's absolutely critical for us as a community to work together on these things, but also to make sure that we're supporting our school district in the goals that they have. I agree with everything that you said, Dr. Jenkins. I think that it's up to us to advocate for our schools. We also have to be advocating for mental health resources for our entire community. I joke sometimes that maybe we should have just spent our entire ARPA allowance on therapy for everyone, because God knows we all need it after this pandemic. But seriously, we have got to advocate for mental health resources. We have got to do a better job as a community of providing childcare for families that need it. That's a critical thing that I hope to work in more depth with the United Way on. And in order to do all of this, we do need resources in our community. And I'm not looking at all of you. You all are here because you've given generously to the United Way, and I'm sure they're going to use your money well. But we do need to look just up the street to the folks who have gavelled themselves out of session without providing the resources to communities across this state that we need, and who continually make it difficult for the city of Madison and every other city in this state to access the resources we need to take care of our communities. So that's a challenge that we have to face together. Another challenge that I want to call out that I've already talked to Renee about, and I hope that we can work with the United Way on, is that we need our institutions to be able to share information and particularly data better. We need to be working together. If we have identified issues, if we really want to support families, we have to be able to share data about those families better and to have a more coordinated approach in how we help people. And I think that's something that we can do and must do in this community, and I look forward to working with the United Way on it. One of the reasons that the United Way is so important for me and for the work that we do in the city is their connection across our community, whether that's with the business community, our nonprofits, with law enforcement, with other government and other community leaders. The United Way sees the big picture and mobilizes our entire community to make more change. I know that if we continue to work together, if we continue to focus on our shared priorities, that the possibilities of what we can achieve in this community are absolutely endless. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Major. So my next question is for Bill. As a business leader in this community, what are your thoughts on how United Way is approaching its next 100 years? And what role do you feel your organization, the business community in general, and other Dane County citizens have in this work?
Thank you. I think we can all be very proud of what the United Way has accomplished over the last 100 years in this community. And the fact that we know it's an organization that's really focused on root causes and foundational issues and seeking measurable improvement in the lives and well-being of the members of our community. And that is something that I know is foundational to the identity of United Way, and it's foundational to how United Way will continue to succeed and impact this community over the next 100 years. So I've been obviously honored and privileged to be involved in United Way and all they've done. And at the same time, I recognize that it's not just going to be United Way, and it's not just the nonprofit organizations that they help support and deliver services through. It requires businesses and business leaders to be engaged in the community, engaged in solving these issues. And I believe it's critically important for our communities and even for our country. At American Family, we have been focused on root cause issues as well. And about 3 years ago, we created the American Family Institute for Corporate and Social Impact, focused on closing equity gaps in access to education and health care, also on climate resilience, criminal justice reform, and healthy youth development. Those are all areas that we think are critically important, not only for this community, but broadly across communities that we can have an impact in. And I'm fortunate, many of you know my predecessor, Jack Salzwedel, who's in the room, and I'm fortunate to have followed a CEO that laid that foundation within our culture and the way we invest in the community. And I'm also fortunate to have a board of directors that expects our organization to be leaders in our industry and leaders in our community. And I think that's critically important. And we recognize there's tremendous value to our business as a result of this. It's good for our reputation. It's good for our brand with consumers. It's good for our ability to attract and retain great talent, because employees want to work for great organizations that are doing good things in the community, that have a purpose beyond their core business. And of course, we see that there's opportunity for us here as we invest in social impact to even earn financial returns. So we see a lot of benefits for this work and how it impacts our strategy, impacts our organization. And I just want to encourage other business leaders. I know you're not in this room if you're not committed to this community, but business leaders beyond here, we really need to encourage others to engage their people and recognize that this is good for their business too. Recognize and identify how it benefits their organization and how it helps them drive their goals while creating a place that our people want to be. So, thank you.
Thank you so much, Bob. Our last question goes for Bob. Bob, United Way of Dane County explains our collective work as the power of many working for all. What do you feel is the value of all of us, from nonprofit to business, local government, community leaders, volunteers, and donors working together towards these goals? And what role do you feel the community has in supporting overall family well-being?
You know, it's interesting because this has been sort of the theme all night, you know, getting everybody pushing in the same direction. Yesterday after Rotary, Dr. Jenkins and I were talking about one of our favorite books. I'm sure many of you have heard of it before, Good to Great. And there is an analogy in the book about pushing the flywheel. And when you start to push a big, heavy flywheel, it's very difficult to turn. And the more you push it, the faster it turns. At some point, you start to release kinetic energy, which means that you exert the same amount of pressure on the wheel, but it spins faster and it accomplishes more. And I think that's a lot, the analogy is related to United Way's community level goals and what they see and what I think we all see as an important way to push our community forward. As we do that, I tend to think about, you know, putting a broad lens on what it means to be pushing that flywheel with United Way. You know, when you think about individuals have the opportunity, as Renee was saying earlier, we want to invite everybody. Well, some people have financial resources they can bring to the table, and some people, frankly, they can open their home to the next door kid who may not have a place to go after school. Everybody has the capacity in this community to be a force for good, and of course, we all benefit by the community, every single one of us. That's what a community is. It's a symbiotic relationship. When I think about that at an organizational level, I think we have to expand the understanding of what supports basic needs. So, for example, we don't often think about working in the environment as a way to support basic needs, but we've recently had the opportunity to support Groundswell and Operation Fresh Start in creating conservation career pathways. They are predominantly focused on students of color. And so when you're thinking about just the core parts of the community level goals being income and equity, you know, this is a way to work with the environmental community to achieve these greater goals for the community. We also talk about the arts. The mayor just was talking about our mental health. I don't know how many of us would have survived the pandemic without books and movies and music, you know, all the things that go into the arts. And so we often think about the arts and we think about that as apart from basic needs. And yet study after study shows that students who are involved in the arts have greater academic success. And people who are involved in the arts have much healthier, positive health outcomes. So all of this is related, and I think the more we work together and the more we broaden that tent, the better off this community will be.
Thank you so much, Bob. And I wanted to thank all our panelists. You did a great job. Thanks for the insightful information. So we're running near end to our program. I'm going to pass it to Lance for our few next speakers. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you to all of our panelists as well. All right. That great conversation is a perfect segue into what we're going to talk about next, which is not only celebrating the centennial of what United Way has done the past 100 years, but talking about what the next 100 years will look like as well. And to talk about that, we're going to bring on the CEO of the QTI Group, longtime United Way volunteer, and the current Centennial Chair, Londa Dewey.
Thank you. Thank you, Lance. I just want to thank all of our panelists. Thank you for your work. Thank you for your insight. And you really are important leaders representing organizations who have been crucial partners with the United Way of Dane County throughout our history. And those partnerships have been the framework and the foundation of our work as we stand together to strengthen our community. Thank you very much. It's really exciting to be here this evening to celebrate last year's campaign success. Thank you and congratulations to all of the award winners, and thank you all for your generosity. And as Renee mentioned, this event officially kicks off the United Way of Dane County's centennial year, where we will be celebrating a century of innovation, collaboration, and positive change, and preparing for a future of positive impact. I'm very honored to be the Centennial Chair and helping to launch this impactful organization into the next century. And I've been working with 5 incredible committees. So I want to invite you to help me to thank those committee members for their work. And as I mentioned the committee, those who have been involved in the committee, I ask you to please stand. The first is our History Committee. The History Committee has identified 70 community builders and 30 instances of impact over the past 100 years, and also supported local author Doug Moe in writing a book on United Way of Dane County's history, which will be coming out this summer. The History Committee is led by Leslie Howard. Please recognize the History Committee. The next is the Marketing Committee, and the Marketing Committee has helped to connect the centennial message to the overall United Way message so that more people can understand and trust our work. And that is led by Jean Krupp of Hebing. And please stand if you're part of the Marketing Committee. And the third is our Engagement and Expansion Committee, inviting new community members to participate with a voice, and that work is being led by Opal Tomaszewska of CUNA Mutual, the Engagement and Expansion Committee. Our Community Gifts Committee is working with the 2022 campaign to increase participation, leadership giving, and new accounts. This part of the campaign is led by Anna Hooker of Exact Sciences. And our final committee is our Major Gifts Committee, seeking to endow 211, where people go to help, and seeking to endow our volunteer center, where people go to give help, as well as other key initiatives. I just want to provide a special thank you to American Family for their $5 million lead gift, as well as matching challenge. Thank you. We are also working to earn 100 commitments of $250,000 endowed Alexis de Tocqueville gifts, or state commitments, or special gifts to accelerate our work so that more dollars each year from the campaign can go to those in need. And we want to thank Diane Ballweg for her matching gift challenge. This committee is led by Jack Salzwedel of American Family, and please stand if you're part of this committee, and thank you. These Centennial volunteers have been working very hard the last couple of years, and I see the slide has a beautiful picture of all of us on Zoom, so I'm sure you can all relate. The last thing that I wanted to mention is about our community builders, and the more I learn about United Way's robust history, the more I realize that we stand on the shoulders of our community builders, the individuals, families, organizations, and groups that have impacted United Way in a remarkable way over the last 100 years. We will be recognizing our community builders throughout this year, so please look for their stories. And we're excited that many community builders are with us this evening with a sticker that looks just like the slide. And if you are a community builder, please stand so we can thank you and recognize you. So we don't want the festivities to go away. There will be many, many more this year. And up next to talk about our Centennial fundraising campaign for 2022 is Jeff Keebler. Jeff is the president and CEO and chair of Madison Gas and Electric and the incoming 2022 campaign chair. And before I send the program over to Jeff, I just want to acknowledge and express gratitude for MG&E's commitment to our centennial year. Your generous gift will go a long way towards ensuring a better future in Dane County. Thank you, and thank you all.
Well, thank you, Londa. You've all heard the expression, save the best for last. That's not happening tonight. You have been able to hear from some of the best of Dane County and of Madison, and it just has filled my heart with joy, with optimism, and with hope for the future, that Madison and Dane County will be a place that everyone has the opportunity to succeed. So I want to individually thank all of you for what you have done in the community and what you're doing in the community. I'm not going to be the best, but I'm going to try and be the quickest. I just have a couple of thank yous and then a quick call to action for you. But I'm really proud to be part of the Centennial campaign. I'm proud of our campaign cabinet. And I want to specifically recognize and thank Pete Vogel for becoming vice chair of the cabinet this year. Pete has personally invested in the United Way for many years. His family-run business, Vogel Brother Builders, has been a supporter of United Way for many decades. So Pete, thank you, and I look forward to an amazing year. Before I share ways that you can all get involved, I'd like to officially thank a few major gift donors. American Family Insurance has pledged two $2.5 million gifts to be matched by other corporate partners, marking the largest single corporate gift in United Way of Dane County's history. This gift is meant to inspire local businesses to unite in effective community change. And I'm happy to share that the process has been a success so far. Task and MG&E have also pledged major gifts. Other companies participating include National Guardian Life, Ascendium, Alliant Energy, the Oscar Rannenbaum Foundation, and Springs Window Fashions. Let's give them all a round of applause. Dollars donated as part of this challenge are a true investment in the United Way. They are fueling things that you've heard about tonight. United Way 211, as well as the Volunteer Resource Center. These things are connecting over 40,000 residents with services they need and over 150,000 people ways to give back each year. So we are beyond grateful for the partnership and the partners at American Family Insurance for this inspiring catalytic gift. So it's time to understand how you can get involved. So as we plan for the future, United Way's goal is to endow the community hubs that you've heard about so that we don't have to start from zero each year, allowing us to put even more money raised directly into programs and services. We want to grow participation in giving, advocating, and volunteering, and we want to accelerate innovation. So support from donors like you can help unlock these matching funds to further endow United Way's 211 Helpline and Volunteer Center, and to ensure that we can continue to serve our community for generations to come. That is why we are offering new, innovative opportunities to give and to engage. As an individual donor, you can help by joining the Lead United Step Up program. Lead United is a network of leaders who are invested, compassionate, and focused on understanding Dane County's critical issues and on achieving professional growth. You can join Lead United by making an annual contribution of $1,000 or more. If you are not able to make that contribution at this time, but still want to join Lead United, you can. Through the Lead United Step Up program, you can commit to growing your gift to $1,000 or more over the next few years and become a member of Lead United now. If you are a corporate donor, you can lead the way. Increase your corporate gift or begin a new employee giving campaign. Your increases will be matched dollar for dollar. You can activate your employees. Commit to growing your employee participation 5% year over year over a 3-year period. For each year you reach your participation goal, additional impact will be made. And you can inspire tomorrow's leaders. Encourage your employees to demonstrate their leadership through joining the Lead United Step Up program. So here's where you're involved. I encourage all of you to make a plan to give back to the Centennial this year and continue to be a part of the power of many working for all. So that concludes my comments. I'm going to turn it to Lance, and I hope we have another joke.
You know, since you mentioned it, Jeff, I don't know if you knew this, Jeff, I'm really good at making banana splits. Why is that? I learned at Sunday school. And with that, it's time for all of us to split. We want to thank you all so much for joining us here. It's been such a great evening. Thank you to our panelists. Thank you to everyone who spoke here today. But we have to do one more thing before we go. I have noticed all night Renee blushing and hiding every time somebody complimented her. Hold on. You can't hide anymore, Renee. And I want to see how much you can blush. Everyone, round of applause for Renee Moe and everyone at United Way. Let's stand up and give them a round of applause, huh? Thank you so much for all that you do, United Way. Thank you for showing up. We have some special exhibits in the lobby. We're going to send you off with a video here tonight. Have a great evening, everybody.
For the past 100 years, United Way of Dane County has been a change catalyst, bringing our community together to address our toughest issues and most urgent needs. We're so excited to be celebrating our centennial with you. Because of you, you're allowing us to bring together in collaboration nonprofits, businesses, donors, volunteers, community leaders, and families to work on issues that no one of us can achieve alone. We're so proud of what we've accomplished, but we're just getting started.
We have big goals for our centennial celebration, but we can't do it alone. So we invite every citizen in our community to participate, to give, to advocate, to volunteer. You have an opportunity to play an important role in our community's future and make Dane County a better place for all.
With your generous support, United Way can continue to focus on building family well-being so that every person in Dane County has what they need to lead healthy, thriving, and secure lives.
I am the power of many working for all.
I am the power of many working for all.
I am the power of many working for all.
I am the power of many working for all.
I am the power of many working for all.
We are the power of many working for all.